In this video that you are about to watch, we are going to go over the Drake versus Kendrick beef. One of the most vile, devastating, and straight up evil rap beefs of all time. It is no battle, this is war. So put on your camo, grab your gear, and let's jump into it. Hello, my name is Memo. This is my channel, Fancy Memo. Welcome back to my channel. If you like music related content like this, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed and you want more of this for some reason, check out my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. If you like basketball content, I have a basketball podcast. It's called Above the Rim Rundown, where we run down all things NBA. Alright, now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about what's been popping off lately, because I heard there's been shit going down. Drake versus Kendrick, Kendrick versus Drake. This is a mutual hatred that didn't necessarily start this year. It's been going on for a bit. These two have been throwing subliminal lines at each other for years now. They haven't liked each other for like 10 years. But no one expected them to actually collide and go to battle with each other. Diss track after diss track. No one saw this coming. But now that it did happen, now that it is, I guess, over. I mean, at the time of this recording, Kendrick hasn't responded to the Hard Part 6. I don't think he needs to at this point. I think we all know he won. Drake is still being clowned on for dropping the Hard Part 6. So I feel like it's safe to say it's over, but we'll see, I guess. But now that it is over, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this beef. Let's talk about why the girls are fighting. And essentially what I'm doing here is going over the timeline on what made this blow up so much. I will give you my opinions. I'll give you reasons why I believe Kendrick won. Spoiler alert, if you're a Drake fan, this video is not for the weak. You might get your feelings hurt here. But yeah, not gonna lie, I have been very invested in this beef. I've been talking about it a lot on TikTok. I've been making a lot of content around this battle on TikTok. I do feel bad that I haven't made a YouTube video like reacting to any of the diss tracks, so I do apologize if you are subscribed to me because of my reactions in the past and I didn't react to any of the diss tracks here. I've just been very busy with college, with my work, life in general. Like when Not Like Us dropped, I was at a concert, so it was hard for me to get that done quickly. But I do apologize for not making reaction videos throughout this entire beef. I think it would have been a smart idea if I did, but hopefully this video makes up for it. And my live streams, let me know if you've checked out one of my live streams, if you liked it at all. I've been having fun live streaming, so let me know if you like it. But yeah, with all that said, I still want to give out my thoughts on this battle because, again, I've been so invested into it. So let's do that. Let's go over every track that led to this moment. And I feel like the best way to start off is by going over and talking about a song that wasn't even released this year. It was released late last year, and that is First Person Shooter.
Big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing shit that they did in the studio.
Again, we could go back to like 10 years ago and try to stir up the reasons why Drake and Kendrick have not liked each other. But let's forget all that, because this is where like a little spark occurred. A spark that eventually turned into a huge flame. So First Person Shooter is a banger. Like, I really like this song. I think it was my 18th favorite track of last year, which is good for a Drake song because, not gonna lie, I'm biased. I don't like Drake. I think he's been washed for years now, but I do really like that song. It has a cold beat. Drake has a nice flow. J. Cole is featured on this track. I think he's pretty mid as well. That's my bias. Not a big J. Cole fan, but I thought he was awesome on that track. And what stood out the most that got people excited was when J. Cole said, "Love when they argued the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey, or me? We the big three, like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali." Essentially saying that Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole, they're all part of the big three, which is a sentiment that people have had since the early 2010s. But out of those big three names, J. Cole believes that he's the best. He believes he's the GOAT. He believes he's Muhammad Ali, which is what rappers usually do. They usually just say, hey, I respect you, but I'm the best. So it's pretty innocent for J. Cole to say. There's nothing different than what he said in the past, nothing different than what other rappers have said in the past. Kendrick has done this before, Drake has done this before, but for some reason, that ticked off the little bit Kendrick Lamar, because although this was released on October 6th, 2023 during the For All the Dogs rollout. On March 22nd, 2024, we got We Don't Trust You, a collaborative album between Future and Metro Boomin. Future is one of my favorite trap artists. Metro Boomin is one of my favorite trap producers. I think he is my favorite in that lane, actually. I was thinking about reacting to this album, but I saw the track list. It was like 18 songs long, so I was like, I'll forget about it. Nothing interesting will happen. Boy, was I wrong. Because in one of the tracks here, like that, there was a surprise feature. There was surprise features all over this track list, but unlike that, the surprise feature was Kendrick Lamar himself. Now, let me just say that Like That is such a great track. Future has amazing energy on the track. The synthesizers on this beat is so sharp and aggressive. Metro killed it on the drums there, but it's Kendrick Lamar who stole the show. Not only with his clever wordplay, his awesome rapping ability, but with the disses, which made the internet No one saw this coming. He rebuttals the J. Cole Big 3 line by saying, motherfuck the Big 3, it's just big me. And he has a lot of lines to say about Drake. And your best work is a light pack. Prince outlived Mike Jack. For all your dogs getting buried, that's okay with all these nines. He gonna see Pet Cemetery. Fuck sneak dissing first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. There was a lot of heat going towards Drake on this track. And not only this track, but throughout the entire We Don't Trust You album. Right in the very first track, the title track, Future is going off at Drake. You a number 1 fan, dog. Sneak dissing, I don't understand, dog. Pillow talking, acting like a fed dog. I don't need another fake friend, dog. This is supposedly a response to a sneak diss from Drake on the track What Would Pluto Do? So the question is, what would Pluto do? He'd fuck the host, so I did it. Basically saying that he slept with the same woman that Future slept with. That's why they're beefing. Metro Boomin has also had a beef with Drake through Twitter. Metro Boomin said that he was upset that his album Superheroes and Villains was losing to Drake's Her Loss in several different award shows for Rap Album of the Year. Metro quickly deleted this tweet and Drake had this to say.
And to the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam. Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? You guys, that's what I thought. No, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
So we know that Metro doesn't like Drake necessarily for taking his spotlight. And Drake apparently doesn't like Metro because Metro took him off of Trance. Apparently Drake has a feature on Trance that got leaked, but Metro took him off because he felt like Drake was unnecessary, which is kind of crazy to say, for not believing that the biggest artist in the world is not necessary on your own track. That's kind of a bold thing to say from Metro, but I respect it.
Drake, obviously that his verse leaked this week. Why did that version not make the album?
Really, it was a song I had did with Travis and Thug originally for my album. I was just in the studio with Drake one time. Just wanted to hear some songs from my album. Then he heard that one and really wanted to get on it. But like I was letting him know that he was really just done for real, and I was really just set on how it was. I was like, bro, I ain't even trying to sell you no dream. Like it's really like he hit me and was just like, man, let me see if it's just anything he could add to it. And he was like, if you don't like it, then whatever. So he did some stuff. A couple parts was cool, but like I just felt like just even with like slime verse and trap verse and the outro, it was just already like it just really wasn't no room. It was just wasn't no room. It wasn't nothing personal. It just wasn't no room. So
all these signs are saying that Drake is awful. That all these guys are hating on Drake right now. And guess who decided to respond first? J. Cole.
He's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons. Your first shit was classic. Your last shit was tragic.
J. Cole did catch a stray with the fuck the Big 3 line. It's just big me, saying that J. Cole and Drake does not belong in the Big 3. Kendrick is saying, nah, step out of the way. It's just big me. And I guess that was enough to get J. Cole involved in something that he really shouldn't have been involved in. Like I mentioned it in the past in a TikTok video where I said that J. Cole shouldn't be involved because it's just a stray. It's just a stray. You'll be fine. Don't bother going against Kendrick. We all saw what No Name did to you. Don't even try with Kendrick, but he did. He tried. Many Cole fans insisted that he should battle Kendrick, and that's what he did. On April 5th, 2024, J. Cole dropped a surprise mixtape called Might Delete Later. It's okay, it's a mid project, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's some great rapping. Yeah, there's some great beats. There's some good features. J. Cole has his moments. But then again, it's also riddled with some cringy lines. I think he starts off the album with a Rick and Morty line. He has the infamous ABC line that is very cringe. He also has a transphobic line that, like, come on, it's 2024. Let's leave that in the past. With all that said, debatably the worst part about this mixtape was the final track called 7-Minute Drill, which is a diss track towards Kendrick Lamar. And I gotta say, it's an awful diss track. Some of the worst disses you'll hear in a song. He's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons. We're really starting off like this? Is that what we're really doing as grown adults? We're comparing Kendrick Lamar with The Simpsons. Okay. Your first shit was classic, your last shit was tragic, your second shit put people to sleep, but they gassed it. Your third shit was massive, and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind and just now hit mine. What are you doing? Why are you going after Kendrick's discography, saying that Mr. Morale flopped, which I guess is not a fan favorite. It's one of my favorite Kendrick albums. Like, I love that album probably more than most people, but with that said, it's still an amazing album, and J. Cole said it flopped, so whatever, that's his opinion. What I won't let him slip by, though, is saying that T-Pap, To Pimp a Butterfly album right over here, one of the greatest albums of all time, not only in rap music, but in music in general. He called that shit boring? Do you know who you are, J. Cole? You are one of the most boring rappers out now. This is something that people have said to you for over a decade now. This is why I think you're mid, because yeah, you can rap over a boring ass beat with boring ass flow, talking about boring ass stuff, and you're the one calling T-Pab boring? Get the fuck out of here. J. Cole also had some other weak lines, like 4 albums in 12 years I can divide. It's making fun of Kendrick's upload schedule, which, like, I'll take quality over quantity any day. Yeah, this is not much of a diss. Saying your arms might be too short to box with the god is lame. It really is a not so good short joke. That's what we're going with. Okay, buddy. So yeah, this diss track, lame as hell. So lame. I wasn't the only one that agreed. You know who agreed with me? J. Cole himself. J. Cole thought it was lame.
I'm so proud of that project, except for one part. It's one part of that shit that make me feel like, man, that's the lamest shit I ever did in my fucking life, right? I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like I try to like jab my nigga back, and I try to keep it friendly, but at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace. So what I want to say right here tonight is, in the midst of me doing that and in that shit, trying to find a little angle and downplay this nigga's fucking catalog and his greatness, I want to say right now tonight, how many people think Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest motherfuckers to ever touch a fucking microphone? Dreamville, y'all love Kendrick Lamar, correct? As do I. So I just want to come up here and be like, publicly be like, bruh, that was the lamest, like, goofiest shit. And I say all that to say, it made me feel like 10 years ago when I was moving incorrectly. And I pray that God align me back up on my purpose and on my path. You know what I mean? I pray that my nigga really didn't feel no way. And if he did, my nigga, I got my chin out. Take your best shot. I'm gonna take that shit on the chin, boy. Do what you do.
J. Cole thought it was so lame, and dissing people is not something that he usually does. It's not part of who he is, which I respect. So he ended up apologizing for it. So I respect that he owned up to his mistakes and he started being real with his fans, saying that, you know, this is not me. I shouldn't have done this. I respect that part, but at the end of the day, you did it. You made a diss track, a bad diss track, so you kind of deserve to be clowned on. I appreciate you apologizing, but don't expect an apology from me. You're the one that made yourself look like a clown. So yeah, he apologized for it and then ended up deleting the diss track. It's no longer on streaming services. So it's crazy how after one verse, after the Like That verse, already started and ended a beef with J. Cole. Like, it came and went like like that. It didn't even take a week after J. Cole dropped 7-Minute Drill for it to get deleted. One down, one more to go. Now it's time for Drake. It's time for Drake to come in. Does he come in? No, not really. It takes a few more weeks until he comes in. What does drop though is We Still Don't Trust You, a follow-up album from Metro Boomin and Future.
When they got leaks in their operation, I thank God that I never signed my life away.
I did want to highlight this a bit because although Kendrick was not involved in this album at all, a lot of artists was. We got The Weeknd, A$AP Rocky, Rick Ross getting involved. The Weeknd dropped a line saying how he's so glad he didn't sign with OVO. A$AP Rocky responding to some subliminals Drake had towards Rihanna and was basically calling out Drake. And then Rick Ross during this time was trolling. He's been supporting Metro and Future and Kendrick since basically the beginning and continues to troll Drake on Instagram.
First person shooter, I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like rap. This Melly Mel if I had to. Got 2 T's with me. I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos.
And funny enough, on this album, J. Cole had an appearance, so it looked like he switched sides immediately after apologizing to Kendrick, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, on April 19th was the day Drake dropped Push-Ups on streaming services.
Then we need a verse for the Swifties. Top say drop, you better drop and give them 50.
It was leaked like a few days before. It was April 13th, Drake leaked Push-Ups. A lot of Kendrick fans were saying that Drake leaked it himself so he could see the audience reaction before he could actually release it. And the audience reception was actually pretty good. Like, in fact, I enjoyed the diss. I thought it was a great diss track because not only was Drake going after Kendrick, he was going after everybody that went after him. He dissed Future, he dissed The Weeknd, he dissed Rick Ross, he even dissed Metro Boomin. He told Metro to shut your whole ass up and make some drums. I thought that was funny. He dissed J. Cole. So yeah, he was kind of going after everybody, but of course the main disses were towards Kendrick. How the fuck he's big step in with size 7 men's on? I think that was a funny small joke. He was making fun of the amount of money Kendrick makes by saying, extortion baby, whole career you've been shook up cause Top told you drop and give me 50. Like some push-ups. Big difference between Mike then and Mike now. What the fuck is this? A 20v1? What's a prince to a king? He a son? That's a great line. He also mentions Kendrick's wife for the first time. I be with some bodyguards like Whitney. But he also mentions some stuff that I don't agree with either. Or don't understand why Drake said it to begin with. For example, you better do that motherfucking show inside the biddy. Maroon 5 need a verse. You better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. Basically saying that Kendrick makes pop music. Okay, he was featured on a Taylor Swift song. I guess a Maroon 5 song. But Drake is known for making pop music as well. Like his own music is pop music. So I don't think he should be talking. Drake also says, you ain't in no big 3. SZA got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down. Savage got you wiped down. No offense to any of those artists, but they're not on the same level as Kendrick. Maybe the same level as J. Cole. Maybe the same level as Drake, but not the same level as Kendrick. So although there was things I didn't agree with, I did think this was a good diss track. A great response from Drake. And speaking of response, 2 days after this was dropped, Rick Ross of all people decided to drop his own diss track.
Niggas leaking their records when we speaking directly. If we keeping it gangster, when you see me, you check me.
It's called Champagne Moments. And I like it. I think it's good. I think it's funny. He straight up calls Drake white boy. He's mad that he sent a cease and desist towards French Montana and basically makes fun of Drake for having plastic surgery. He got a nose job apparently. He got a lipo on his belly so he could have some abs. And I think it's funny how the fat guy is fat shaming Drake. I think that's hilarious. Yeah, this one was a little forgettable. I won't lie. So even with Rick Ross going after Drake, I really thought Drake had a lot of momentum on his side. I thought he was slightly ahead of Kendrick, because Kendrick only dropped one verse, so it kind of made sense that at the time Drake was winning. He was winning until he did one of the dumbest mistakes he could have made and dropped Tailor-Made Freestyle on April 19th.
Kendrick, we need ya. The West Coast savior.
But yeah, Drake had all the momentum in the world and decides to drop Tailor-Made Freestyle on his Instagram, which is horrible. It is basically a fantasy roleplay that Drake created using AI of Tupac and Snoop Dogg, who is alive. I don't know why you didn't just get Snoop Dogg on the track. If you paid him enough, he probably would have done it. But yeah, essentially he had Tupac and Snoop Dogg telling Kendrick to hurry up, drop a diss track, and basically trying to get Kendrick to rush and drop a diss track as soon as possible, so the diss track could be rushed and not as good as Kendrick might have wanted it to be. That's kind of the point of the diss track, but utilizing AI is a horrible move, especially since it doesn't sound good. It sounds metallic, it sounds so fake. And to add to that, Drake, for some reason, even though no one brought it up yet, it was going to be brought up, but no one brought it up yet until Drake used Tupac to tell Kendrick that, hey, remember, this guy likes little kids. Talking about him liking young girls, that's a gift from me, says Tupac. He had Tupac remind Kendrick that, hey, you should mention that Drake has some involvement with underage children. What a stupid ass idea. Why would you think that was a good idea? So yeah, by far the worst thing Drake could have done at this moment. I think by far the worst diss track that Drake dropped. Alright, I guess we could move on to April 30th, which
I can't even think of a Drake line. Play J. Cole, get the pussy dry.
Hello, I'm Kanye West. Let me talk about how I don't like Drake or J. Cole. I don't care, you're washed. No one cares that you dropped the Like That remix. Literally nobody asked. You're a Nazi. I made graduation? Dude, shut up. Leave. I made graduation. Get out. Sorry about that. But after all the trolling and after all the shenanigans that has happened, on April 30th, out of nowhere, Kendrick dropped Euphoria.
But don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell truths about you.
Originally on YouTube, but quickly added it on streaming services. And yeah, this was one of the best diss tracks I've heard. Debatably my favorite, but I'm not sure yet. In this diss track, he's saying how much more calculated he is. He talks about how Drake is a consistent liar and he can predict every Drake move, like utilizing Mr. Morale and the content from that album to diss Kendrick. I think it is something that the audience will continue to keep in mind throughout this entire battle. It's a very methodical diss track with some amazing lines, like the YMW Melly line, the Pusha T line. Yeah, fuck all the push and P. Let me see you push a T. You better spin it off on him. You think about pushing me. That's a bar. But don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell truths about you. That's a warning, dude. That's a warning that Drake should have listened to. Kendrick talks about how he is the biggest hater in the world. It's always been about love and hate. Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way you walk, the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. I hate the way you sneak this, and if I catch flight, it's gonna be direct. I thought this was very funny. When I say you stand by sexy red, I believe you see two bad bitches. I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might pop ass with them. He had a great counter for the 20v1 line. Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20 if I gotta smack people that write with you. He makes fun of the Canadian slang. He talks about how Drake wanted a feature from him. He also talks about how Drake sent a cease and desist for Like That. Try cease and desist on the Like That record. Oh, what, you ain't like that record? Back to back, I like that record. I'ma get back to that for the record. Keep that in mind, by the way. The Daft Punk line was cold. Headshot for the year, you better walk around like Daft Punk. So there's a lot of great lines and several bombs in there as well. I think some of the more surprising moments is when he mentions the cease and desist, the fact that Drake still wanted a feature from him even though they've been not on the best terms, the fact that Drake doesn't like women, which could be seen in multiple ways, but how I see it, Drake has been dissing women for so long in his songs. I think the most egregious one was when he said that Megan Thee Stallion was a liar for getting shot in the foot. So maybe that's why Kendrick said that he doesn't love women. That's just me speculating though. And last thing about Euphoria, Kendrick does a great job at talking about how inauthentic Drake can be, especially as a black man, with lines like, how many more black features till you finally feel that you're black enough? Tommy Hilfiger stood out, but FUBU never had been your collection. And he basically straight up says that it's cringe when Drake uses the N-word. But yeah, after this was dropped, out of nowhere, on May 3rd, on his Instagram, Kendrick Lamar dropped 616 in LA.
Off-white Sunseeker had the marina. Fuck a phantom, I like to buy yachts when I get the fever.
He literally dropped it in like 6:16 in the morning. It was like that early here in the West Coast. And to me, this was him just trying to bait Drake, trying to get him to drop and trying to spook him as well by saying that he's got OVO people on his payroll. He's saying that OVO people are working for him. Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? He's really trying to spook Drake here. He's trying to get him to drop with a song that, funny enough, has production credits from Jack Antonoff, who is famously known for producing Taylor Swift's latest albums. Soundwave was involved as well. But yeah, I think 616 was a smart move because that same day, Drake dropped Family Matters. Drop a 50 bag for the mob in a spot. Which is a diss track towards Kendrick, but for some reason, he was also dissing other people as well. He had subs for J. Cole, Metro Boomin, Rick Ross, The Weeknd, Future, A$AP Rocky, which, like, at this point of the beef, no one was wanting to hear all that. Everybody wanted to hear Drake go after Kendrick, and he did, but, like, this track was, like, scattered. It was unfocused, and it didn't need to be 7 minutes long, honestly. He could have cut it down and just solely focus on Kendrick. I think that would have benefited him a lot. I would say Drake sounded nice on this beat. The beat was nice as well. But yeah, there's issues on this track. Like, I thought it was weird when he said, always rapping like you about to get slaves freed. Dude, Kendrick is out here saying you are not black enough, and this is what you're saying? He also mentions how Kendrick is married to someone who's mixed, which honestly to me is not a big deal at all. Because Kendrick, although has been calling out Drake for not being black enough, he definitely doesn't hate biracial people. He doesn't hate people who are half black, half white. He hates people who are inauthentic, who are acting to be black. If he hated all biracial people, he would have gone even harder at J. Cole, who is biracial. But unlike Drake, he is very authentic. He loves hip-hop. He loves being a black man. It is hard to say that about Drake. So having Drake mention that Kendrick is married to someone who's mixed is not a big deal. It's not the hard-hitting diss that we were looking for. But by far, one of the biggest shocks is when Drake mentions that Kendrick's son is not actually Kendrick's. It's actually Dave Free, who is a longtime collaborator with Kendrick Lamar. I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Freeze. Is there proof on this? Not really. I don't know Kendrick or Dave Free at all, but they kind of seem like they're still on good terms. So I don't know if Dave Free had a kid with Whitney. We don't know this to be true. Everybody seems like they're on good terms, so I'm not taking much from that either. Another shell shock here is when Drake said, when you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense cause she bigger than you? Basically saying that Kendrick abuses Whitney, his fiance, which, again, there's no proof on this. And if this was the case, I don't know why Whitney's brother would be supporting Kendrick through all of this. Like, if your sister got beat up, I doubt you will support the person that beat up your sister. So this one is also something that I don't really believe. Something that I take with a grain of salt. I don't feel this is as true as it might seem to be. But again, I don't know anybody. I don't know anything, to be honest. There's no proof for anything, so yeah. So yeah, this was not the best diss track. A lot of the disses here, the big nukes, as you will, do not seem to be real. There's no real proof behind any of it. And the fact that this song was so scattered, it's not only going after Kendrick, it's going after a lot of other people as well. It just makes it a really weak response after Euphoria in 616 in LA. But yeah, after this dropped, literally like 30 minutes later, Kendrick already had a response. It was most likely pre-recorded, but still, he had a response, and it is Meet the Grams.
Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me behind this.
One of the most evil, vile, malicious diss tracks you will ever hear in your life. Essentially, this diss track is letters to multiple family members from the Graham family. He starts off with Adonis, apologizing to Adonis for having such a horrible dad. Kendrick also goes after Drake's mom, basically knowing that she raise a predator. He had her sit down so he could break the news. He goes after Drake's dad for making Drake this way, saying that he's the reason why Drake has a gambling addiction. He goes after Drake and his multiple addictions, drugs, money, gambling, women, and he goes after Drake's surprise daughter. Apparently Drake has been hiding a daughter this whole time. This one I don't really believe either. There's not a lot of proof, but Drake's response hasn't been great either, with his Instagram posts seeming very in denial, which I guess like that's the move, but I feel like you should bring up some kind of proof in order to debunk this, especially if it's not true. You should try to debunk this as well as you can, but Drake has not done that. And on the other side, Kendrick has not provided proof that Drake does have an actual 11-year-old daughter. So that could definitely be fake in my opinion, because there's like no proof. What there is proof of is what Kendrick mentions in the song, how there's some people in OVO that are predators. This cannot be disputed. In this article, it says that Baca, who is a long-known collaborator with Drake, who is involved with OVO, he was arrested for human trafficking and assault. This is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. This is some kind of proof that Kendrick might not be lying about there being predators in the OVO camp. Something else that is the truth or has some kind of proof behind it: Drake's weird relationship with little underage children. Drake has had a long history with being weird with underage girls, whether it's kissing Kylie Jenner on the cheek on her 16th birthday. We got this article saying Drake dating teenager officially enters creepy old man phase. Apparently a then 31-year-old rapper was seen dating 18-year-old model Bella Harris, which in this People's article here, it states a response from Harris saying, coming off an amazing New York Fashion Week, I feel I need to set the record straight. I did not dine in DC recently. I was happily working and dining in New York City every day, she captioned with a selfie, essentially saying that this wasn't really true because she was not in DC during this time. She was in New York. So this was debunked, but it's so weird how close they were at the age of 18, knowing that they met when she was only 16. Although they most likely have not done anything, there is a good indicator that there might have been some grooming involved in this situation. Because what adult at the age of 29, I guess, would be hanging out with a 16-year-old and then start getting really close with her when she turns 18? That's weird, dude. That's weird. But by far the most damning evidence that Drake definitely has some weird relationships with teenage girls is this video right here. Drake kissing and hugging up on underage girl at a Denver concert. Your hands are too low, buddy. They're getting way too low. But okay, you know what? Innocent dance next to a bunch of bras. Oh my god, I never noticed that. Innocent dance. Oh, this is cute. This is nice. A celebrity and fan moment. Cool. He still doesn't know. He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know that she's 17. What is he doing? What is he doing? Is that a kiss on the shoulder? On the neck? On the head? Touching. 17! She was only 17! That's why you shouldn't do anything, right, Drake? Why you look like that? That's so stupid. Bro. Then just say thank you. Kiss on the hand. Kiss on the cheeks. Kiss on the forehead. Kiss on the mouth, dude. She's 17. She's just a child. Bro. You can't get away with this. Dude. The 17-year-old is no longer 17. And she does say that y'all are wild for this and that it was nothing then and it's nothing now. So she's basically saying, hey, nothing happened. nothing happened. Yeah, he did kiss a 17-year-old on the mouth when he was like 23 or something. And she did say that it was nothing then and nothing now. With that said, like, I do not want to invalidate what she says, because at the end of the day, if she is fine with it, then we should be fine with it. But with that said, this is something a grooming victim would say. Like, to be frank with you, this is what a grooming victim would say. They were groomed. Of course, they're not going to say something bad about the groomer. So yeah, there's definitely plenty of proof of Drake's weird relationships with teenage girls. Am I saying that he did the thing with children? No. If anything, I don't consider him a pedo. I consider him more of a groomer, because he has history with grooming children, including one more. Hold up, I almost forgot about this one, but yeah, the Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown, probably the most famous example of Drake's weird relationships with teenagers. When Millie was just a teen, she said, "He's honestly so fantastic and a great model. We just texted each other the other day and he was like, I miss you so much." Weird. And I was like, I miss you more. He's coming to Atlanta. I'm definitely going to go and see him. And then when asked what they text each other about, Millie replied, "About boys, he helps me. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him." Aubrey, bro, this is not looking good for you. Millie did have this response again when she was a teenager, just saying, don't make it weird, because they're just friends. And again, I don't think Drake did anything illegal per se, but you can't lie, there was some grooming involved. Why is an adult texting a teenager about boys? Why is an adult texting a teenager that's not family? It's weird. So yeah, there is proof of Drake doing some pedo stuff. So yeah, that was all mentioned in the Meet the Grams track. Probably the only flaw from this track is since it was pre-recorded, it was pre-made before Family Matters, Kendrick did not have the chance to respond to any of the allegations thrown at him, and that would have been nice. After how shocking of a listen that was, to me, there was no way Drake could come back from that. Like, how could you even respond to a track like Meet the Grams? Like, it's almost impossible. To me, I thought this was the nail in the coffin. I thought this was the very end. But out of nowhere, on May 4th, May the 4th be with you, when I was at a concert with a buddy of mine, we have the basketball podcast together. When we were out vibing to DJ sets, Kendrick Lamar dropped Not Like Us.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck 'em up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
A club banger with a nasty mustard beat. It has a nice West Coast bounce to it, and in this track it emphasizes the fact that Drake is a pedo, which again, he probably hasn't done anything illegal that we know of, but there's a lot of evidence out there of him grooming teenagers and having weird interactions with teenage girls. So because everybody knows that by now, and because of how fire the track is, everybody just started bumping this track and just was happy to celebrate the downfall of a pedo. If Meet the Grams was the nail on the coffin, Not Like Us is the soundtrack that is utilized when we are dancing on Drake's grave. That's basically what it feels like at the moment, because everybody loves this song. Everybody's dancing to it. Everybody's making TikToks to it. Everybody is vibing to it in clubs. It honestly has a huge impact on the world right now and is doing numbers like crazy. I think it has the most streaming numbers from any hip-hop song ever in like a single day. It's a fun track to listen to, and it has some great lines like certified lover boy, certified pedophile, the A minor line, the OV hoes. This song was made just to poke fun at Drake, just to make fun of him. Now, because of this song, it's embarrassing to be a Drake fan. There's no coming back from this. If you're still a Drake fan in 2024, that's embarrassing. You should hide. You should stay away from all schools. At this point, it's over. It's absolutely over. Until Drake dropped The Heart Part 6 on May 5th.
The Pulitzer Prize winner is definitely spiraling. I got your fucking lines tapped. I swear that I'm dialed in.
Where he attempted to come back, but instead he fell flat on the face because essentially this track was the song. It's him doubling down on some allegations like Kendrick beating his wife, Kendrick raising Dave Free's son, and then throughout the song Drake was like, I'm not a pedo. What do you mean, Millie Bobby Brown? For some reason he was like the first person in this beef to mention Millie Bobby Brown, which was interesting. On this track, he said he planted misinformation. Apparently, according to Drake, he says that he had his OVO guys to plant misinformation and told Kendrick that he has an 11-year-old daughter, which is apparently not the case. But if it wasn't the case, why don't you bring proof of it? If you brought proof that you gave Kendrick misinformation, that would have helped you a lot. That would have made you won this rap battle. That's what I would have done. I would have made the screenshot, the album cover. If it was a phone call, I would have used the phone call and sampled it in for the intro of the track. I would have been like, I got you. It's misinformation. It was all lies. I planted everything. I planned everything out. It was all me, bozo. It was all me. And start emoting on his ass. If I knew that I tricked Kendrick Lamar, I would have done all of that. But apparently Drake is not smart enough. And that's what makes it seem untrue. That's what makes it seem like Drake probably did not plant misinformation, because he didn't show proof. He should have shown proof if that was the case. He would have won easily. But instead of showing proof, he was in denial from the beginning that he had a child on IG, and it just made him more sus. The song in general made him more sus. Like, he just can't stop talking about how he's too famous to be a pedo. Like, that's not true. That if he was a pedo, he should be in jail by now. But we all know that it's not as easy as it seems to get pedos to go to jail. It's not that easy. In this song, he misinterpreted the Mother I Sober song from Mr. Morale, which Kendrick predicted, as we mentioned earlier on Euphoria. Kendrick predicted that he was going to do that. He thought that Kendrick Lamar got molested on the song Mother I Sober, but it was actually like his mom. So do your research, buddy. Drake, like his fans, lack media literacy, so that's kind of funny. And at the end, he mentions how Kendrick tried to get rid of R. Kelly's music, which is not necessarily the case. In this article right here, it goes over why in 2018 Kendrick didn't want music from R. Kelly and XXXTentacion to be banned from Spotify when Spotify conducted a policy. In May 2018, Spotify new policy about hateful conduct and hate content set out to remove artist playlists from its platform that engaged in hate speech. It also applied to artists who were accused or convicted of misconduct. So that was the goal of the policy. And what Kendrick was saying, and the reason why Kendrick was claiming that he'll take his music off of Spotify if they enact this policy, is because of what was said here. The CEO, Anthony Tiffith, who was the guy who protested against this, so it's not necessarily Kendrick, but obviously they have ties with each other. He was speaking on behalf of Kendrick Lamar. But the reason why they were so against this policy is because, as stated here, I don't think it's right for artists to be censored, especially in our culture. How did they just pick those artists out in reference to XXXTentacion and R. Kelly? How come they didn't pick out any others from any other genres or any other different cultures, which was the main point? They felt like they were being targeted. They felt like black artists were being targeted because they weren't going after any other problematic artists out there like Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop has a weird history if you want to look into that I won't delve in now. But they weren't threatening to get rid of Iggy Pop's music because Iggy Pop is white. They were trying to get rid of R. Kelly's music. They were trying to get rid of X's music because they are black. There are so many other artists that have different things going on, and they could have picked anybody, but it seems to me that they're constantly picking on hip-hop culture. So yeah, in a way, Kendrick did try to fight for R. Kelly's music to stay on Spotify, but he didn't do it because he was defending R. Kelly. He was doing it to defend black people, to defend black artists, because this policy was aiming towards black people and black artists. So do your research, buddy. God damn. Overall, this song, it sucks. It seemed like Drake was over it. It seemed like Drake was over it from Family Matters, because on Family Matters, he mentioned how he was going on vacation. He was done. He was so over it. And I could see why, because he obviously lost due to many flaws, like having a lack of proof defending his claims or going against Kendrick's claims, due to the fact that he sounded defeated, due to the fact that his songs were just worse. They were a lot more boring for the most part. I did like Push-Ups, I like parts of Family Matters, but for the most part, a lot of the songs that he made, like Taylor Made Freestyle, like The Hard Part 6, were boring. The fact that there are some kind of evidence about Drake being a pedo, or at least a groomer. The fact that there's some kind of evidence that Baka from OVO has been involved with sex trafficking. I feel like the general audience can't do anything but support Kendrick. Like, everything is against Drake's side at this point. Everything. There was no portion of this rap beef that Drake did better than Kendrick. Kendrick had the better banger, the better disses, the better wordplay, the better lyricism. He had more proof on his side. Is everything stated from either artist 100% true? Probably not. But at the end of the day, a lot of things were going towards Kendrick's way. Ultimately, I think that's why Kendrick ended up winning. And it's crazy because Kendrick predicted a lot of things throughout this battle. He was constantly a step ahead, whether it was baiting Drake to drop a response and then immediately responding after Drake's response, or having a club banger so that on the radio or in a club you will hear Kendrick calling Drake a pedophile. Kendrick was just a lot smarter about this situation. It's hard for me to believe that Drake could come back from this. I really didn't think either artist would do anything to ruin each other's careers, but at this point, not only did Drake lost, but I feel like he really can't come back from this. Now that everybody calls him a pedo, it's gonna be embarrassing listening to the next Drake album. It's gonna be embarrassing to be bumping the new Drake song, because in a way you're supporting a pedo, or that's how it's framed now. And plus, all of the artists and producers that have been on Kendrick's side have been on Drake's side in the past, but now they're definitely not gonna collaborate anymore. There's really not a lot of artists out there that seem to be on Drake's side, other than Tom McDonald for some reason. And I feel like no matter what Drake does from here, no one will believe what he says, because as mentioned by Kendrick Lamar himself, he is a master manipulator. He's a habitual liar. At least that's what Kendrick planted in our heads. And I feel like no matter what Drake does from here on out, no one will believe in him. No one will believe him on what he says moving forward. They're just gonna consider him a pedo from now on. And to me, that makes me happy. I've been a Drake hater for so long, so seeing him actually fall from the heavens is actually so fun for me. I'm so happy right now. So yeah, I'm so happy it's popular to hate on Drake now. It makes me feel less alone out there. So yeah, was Kendrick perfect? Was he an angel this entire time? No, he wasn't. But he was definitely a lot more calculated. That's for sure. And he was able to do everything possible to destroy Drake. So to that, thank you, Kendrick, and thank you all for watching. This was definitely a very long video, so I hope you enjoyed watching it. But yeah, I'm done here. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, like the video. That makes sense, right? Comment down below, what was your favorite diss track from this latest beef? My favorite is probably Euphoria, but I think the best diss track is Meet the Grams, and the most replayable is definitely Not Like Us. If you like music related content like this, please subscribe, since that is what I do here. And if you're already subscribed and you want more of this for some reason, check out my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. If you like basketball related content, especially when it comes to the NBA, check out my basketball podcast. It's called Above the Rim Rundown, where we run down all things NBA. I do it with a buddy of mine. It's really fun. We're covering the playoffs right now, so check it out if you're into that. But yeah, I'm done. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Good.